Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Chris LeCompte, although you may have known me as referee or Mr. Official throughout the years. And today I'm going to be joined by Laura Ivy, one of my teammates from the College of Worcester back in my college days, my roommate once I moved out here to Boston. And we're going to be discussing how referees communicate with each other on the field. Then Laura and I will review some examples of referee communication. We'll review some bad examples and some good examples and explain why these all happened. Let's dive in. So joining me is Laura Ivy. Laura and I have been reffing together for many years. We played together on college and club teams. We've both been involved for a while. Laura, what kind of reffing have you done throughout your years?
What all reffing? I started, doing just the basic goal ref. I never really did scorekeeping and timekeeping. I like to move, so those were not good roles for me. I then moved, to slowly start assistant reffing. And then as I learned the rules, I kind of kept going up the ladder, eventually becoming, a snitch ref, and then moving from snitch ref to head ref, and lead assistant ref. So I've been reffing for about 5 years now, if my math is correct.
Yeah, you started reffing, I think we were in college, so 2015, I think is when you started.
Yeah.
So about half a decade.
I hate it when you say that. I genuinely hate it when you say that.
Makes you feel better. You've been playing longer.
It doesn't.
Yeah, so Laura and I went to college together.
It doesn't make better.
The College of Worcester, where we played, wasn't very good. So we would usually only get to go to tournaments if we brought ref crews. So typically we brought, full squad, 21 players, and then Laura and I are both certified head refs, and we would have to train the Worcester refs to be good enough that teams actually wanted us at their tournaments to ref their bracket games.
Yeah,
so we've been doing this a while. We've been training refs, working with AR crews, head ref crews, people training to do all of these positions.
Yeah, and it got us to a lot of tournaments that we otherwise would not have been invited to, because we had something to offer, and what we had to offer wasn't necessarily skilled players, but it was skilled refs.
Right. And so that's why I've asked Laura to join me today to discuss communication within a ref crew, because we both trained referees for now half a decade in becoming and working together as a good team to really make those calls well.
And in addition, I get to bring in the perspective of being a gender minority ref, which does present its own set of unique challenges that can be handled by adjusting how you communicate. When Chris walks onto the field as a ref, he is one of the biggest people on the field very consistently. If you have not met me in person, I am 5'3" and tiny. So I also have a higher pitched voice. And I would go into, meetings and get towered over by players. So communication is really what helped me to have a strong presence on the field that enabled me to be a respected and listened to ref that could control the pace of the game.
So yeah, when Laura and I got started in the Great Lakes region, it was really a trial by fire at the time, because I think anytime you were reffing a team or two teams, there was almost a guarantee that there'd be at least two certified head refs on the field playing as players.
And something that made it easier to do that was when I was reffing with a crew that I felt had my back.
So to really break it down so that it's easier to understand how communication works, we've gone ahead and sorted this into, two different ways that you can communicate and two different times that you can communicate. So there are hand signals and the verbal commands that refs use to communicate. So foul signals, advantage signals, and verbal commands like calling out beats, calling out fouls. And those methods are used differently based on the game situation. During play, you use a different set of hand signals and commands than you use in a ref meeting. And so Laura and I are going to dive into this deeply by taking a look at, during play, what are the hand signals and verbal commands you're using, or when do you use them? And once your ref meeting is occurring, what kind of hand signals and commands do you use? Laura, I know, has had a lot of experience here and a lot of different experiences than I had. So I know she's going to share some great stories as we go through this. So the first place we're going to take a look is communicating during play. So during play, when we're using hand signals as ARs, right? Laura, you assistant ref a lot more than I do. What are some
I do.
times using hand signals?
I will use a hand signal to alert the head ref of something. So if it is a foul, it is going to be, the standard one arm up, the other hand pointing to whichever team committed the foul. Or I'm going to use it to mirror. If I see another assistant ref doing that, I'm going to mirror what they are doing. I will use hand signals when calling beats because it is very helpful. There is a lot of noise happening on the pitch. So when I'm calling a beat, I will point, run, and say, number 25, you are beat. Number 25, you are beat. With my hand pointing at them as I'm coming towards them and physically getting closer.
Right, yeah.
And it also helps if I'm trying to make a determination to call. Running in, pointing, and repeating myself over and over makes it easier to determine if a player is willfully ignoring a beat.
Right. So if you're yelling beat, beat, beat at a player and the ref on the other side of the field hears that, then that other referee can work with you to say, no, I heard the beat. I heard it several times. There's no way that could have been ignored.
And similarly, if I'm yelling just beat, or if I'm yelling beat number 25, because if I'm just yelling beat, that could apply to 12 different players. If I'm yelling beat number 25, at most that's going to refer to 2. But if I point while I'm doing it, we have narrowed it down. There is exactly one person that I am pointing at, saying their number, and telling them what to do.
Right.
And I move towards them.
Right. And if the ref on the other field can hear you calling the beat, they can mirror you. So they can also be calling the same player beat and trying to inform that player that they're beat before they commit a cardable foul, like getting the blue or the yellow card for playing after beat.
Yes. Because it is not fair to players for me to just yell beat and say beat, 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 and then they get a card for ignoring the ref. Well, as the ref, I haven't done my job of making sure they heard the call.
Right. But once you've done your job, and the other refs can confirm, say, yeah, I heard her yelling it. I was also yelling it. It helps. And when there's, I know as a head referee, when you're calling a delayed penalty, a penalty against the defense, if you've got your hand up and you're pointing to the team that did it, and all 4 ARs are doing that, or 3, depending on the time of the game, snitch on pitch or seeker floor, it's much, much easier to tell that a foul is occurring if 4 people have their hands up versus just 1 person.
Mm-hmm.
And if the foul's in the offense, ARs, I don't think do this very often. I know one person who does this really well is you, another is Josh Mansfield, and I think Christian Barnes.
Christian Barnes is I haven't repped with Josh Mansfield as much, but I have with Christian Barnes.
Right. And so when there's like a foul on the offense, they come running up to tell me. They come up, they foul on the offense.
I think a
foul on the offense.
A really important thing to do if you are the assistant ref doing that, it's what I do when I'm assistant reffing, and what I want when I'm a head ref is for the assistant ref to come and stand right behind me.
Absolutely.
And literally just speak loudly into my ear. There was a foul on the offense. There was a foul here, because if you get in front of me or wait for me to look at you, we're going to have a rough time because I have to turn away from the game.
Right. I think I've definitely had a timid AR behind me who was making a call against the offense, but they didn't indicate which team. So they just had their hand up. They didn't indicate which team. And they didn't tell me. And so a play went on for a while before they were able to get my attention, because they weren't loud. They weren't running over to me. They were staying all the way on the other side of the field.
Well, and the benefit of coming up and saying it behind the ref is, even if that assistant ref is wrong, like let's say I'm the head ref and an assistant ref comes up to tell me something and I disagree with it, it is so much better for them to come up behind me and say, I saw this. And I'm like, cool, thank you for letting me know. Because I don't have to turn away from the game. So even if you're wrong, I want you to come up, stand behind me, and tell me, because now I have more information.
So this stoppage, I'm not worried about the stoppage itself. The stoppage itself, I think, if I remember correctly, is about 30 seconds or so. It's not too bad. But I want to look at the AR making the call before the stoppage occurs. Okay. So
it's the guy with the red sock, correct?
Sorry?
Red sock.
Yes, with the red and the white sock down here. So this AR is going to be making the call about some foul that the defense is going to commit.
Okay.
So just walk through what you see, what you think would go better.
Okay. Well, I cannot see him. Well, he saw something. I saw his arms move. There they go. He has committed to the call. Oh, no, he hasn't committed to the call. Yeah. Okay, he walks up. He's coming up. I guess you did. Okay, so we did commit to the call. He's coming to tell the ref that he saw something. Come on. Come on, buddy. Go.
Yeah.
Wait. No. Come back.
Right. Why isn't the ref telling that ref?
If you saw something, if you see something, say something.
Thank you, New York. Thank you, MTA.
Wait, so now he's just doing a quick something with a bludger over here.
Right.
Okay. So there are 3 things.
Okay.
As a coach, if I am a coach on that sideline who just saw a ref raise his hand to call a foul on the other team, and I actually have seen this so many times, I am angry.
Right.
Because you saw something, and as soon as your hand goes up, you are telling everybody that you saw something. And now you've told everybody who did something. As soon as you do that, it's not just the refs looking at you. When the players are seeing it too, and they want you to make the call that you saw. And the guy even walked over to make the call. Like,
right. Just talk to the head ref.
Commit to it.
Yeah, just walk up to the head ref and say, Nick, I gotta tell you this foul real quick.
Worst case scenario is the ref says, thank you, you're wrong.
I also saw it, it's not a foul. Or what you're describing isn't illegal.
Like, come on. You can't. You have to. Once your hands are in the air, you are making that call.
Now, once a referee's gotten your attention and you stop play and they ask for like a meeting, they're meeting with you.
Mm-hmm.
Does this change? Do their hand signals and the commands, does that change at all?
Absolutely. Everything changes once you're in the ref meeting.
So I'd like you to speak from your perspective as an AR and then your perspective as a head referee. So as an AR, when you come into the ref meeting, what are you bringing to the ref meeting?
An exact explanation of what I saw on the field.
So how much goes into your explanation? So let's say you're watching a play and there's a tackle from behind committed by number 24 of the defense. I
will say number 29, you said?
24.
24, my bad. First of all, I'm going to have the number of the player definitive in my hand. I am not going into that ref meeting until I know the players involved in whatever foul I'm calling. Both.
What strategies do you use to make sure that you know the number?
I will either hopefully and ideally, I have really taken a good look before I've walked over to the ref meeting.
Right. So, like, that's what I'm saying.
I will pause.
Once you're in the ref meeting, it gets more challenging.
Once I really want to have that before I get there. So I might walk around the players really quick and just take a gander at everyone's jerseys.
Okay.
I've had to do this before, and I've hated having to do it. Is I really try to avoid that once I'm in the ref meeting, I don't want to leave and say, you turn around.
Right. You want to know before you get to the ref meeting what's their jersey number.
Like, worst case scenario.
Okay, so you give all right, so you know the jersey number. It's number 24 of the defense, and they've got a tackle from behind. So you come into the ref meeting, and what are you saying to the ref? Because I feel like a lot of people hear I'm going to bring an explanation of what happened, and they think different things about that. So
I'm going to bring exactly what you just told me. Defense number 29, illegal physical contact from behind.
Okay. Now,
that's it.
Yeah. That's so the team, the number.
Now let's say there's another assistant ref in the meeting that says, I saw that hit and it was not a tackle from behind. At that point, I'm going to consider, did this other assistant ref have a better angle than me?
Right, because if they had if you're looking at straight on and they're looking from the side, you might have completely different angles.
And then I'm also going to consider how certain I am. Now, when I come into the ref meeting to make a call, I'm going to go in and say it with complete confidence that I'm right until I am challenged by another ref.
Right.
And then at that point, I really look to the head ref and say, listen, this was my angle. This is how I saw it from my angle. This is how certain I am of what happened.
So
I think at that point, it's the head ref's responsibility to listen to and trust both of their assistant refs, all of their assistant refs, and make that call from there.
So flipping the script, you're now the head referee, and this assistant ref, two assistant refs have come to you. One is saying tackle from behind, and the other is saying, I also saw that hit. It's not a tackle from behind. What do you do? How do you take control of that, and how do you determine what actually happened?
The first thing I'll do is I'll say thank you both for telling me what you saw, because I want to keep a positive relationship with my assistant refs.
Yeah, that's important.
And I want both refs to know that I heard them.
Okay.
Then I'll take into consideration a number of things. The experience of the refs is something I really will take into consideration. You know, if I have you and then I have somebody who is an assistant ref for the first time in their life, I'm probably going to put a little more stock in what you're saying.
Experience, yeah.
The refereeing, based on the experience level.
Matters. Right, experience does matter a ton, because the more you see plays, the more you get to recognizing those plays and knowing what's actually going on.
So I'm going to take that into account. But the first question I'm going to ask is, who had the better angle?
And how do you determine that if, let's say, neither ref knows what better angle is? As the head ref, how are you going to determine that? I'm
going to ask who was closest to the play. Was there anything blocking your view?
Oh, yeah. Players screening you is a big issue.
And so let's say it is a tackle from behind. I'm going to say, were you in front of them? Were you to the side?
Okay.
Because that could really affect, if you're in front of somebody, you could have a really deceptive tackle that looks like it's from behind, but they've gotten their stomach in front of the other player. That's a view you're only going to get if you're seeing it from a side angle. So I want to know, how were these assistant refs positioned when they saw the hit?
Okay.
And then after that, it's a confidence thing. So I'll look at them and I'll be like, how confident are you? And they're like, I am 90% confident. I'm like, ooh, really confident. But then if I go to the other ref and I say, how confident are you? And they say, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this happened. I am completely confident. I'm going to listen to the person that's telling me they are completely confident.
Makes sense.
But I'm also not going to get mad if I have two assistant refs with different views. If one of them says, to be honest, I'm only 60% confident.
Right, and that's something you bring to the ref meeting, but you definitely don't take out of the ref meeting.
Yeah, but I would rather hear somebody say, you know what, I would listen to that ref over me than have them head down and plow through because they want their call to be made.
Right, like the point of the ref meeting isn't to determine who's correct, it's just to determine what happened.
Yes.
No one else needs to know what happens in the ref meeting except the refs.
Yes. And, I guess really the first thing I ask in every ref meeting, though, now that I'm really thinking about it, was, why are you here?
Right. That's the first thing I usually ask. I think you're probably nicer about it than I am, but when someone comes into the ref meeting, the first thing I ask is, why are you here, or what do you have to call, or did you see the play? And if they say no, I tell them to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And I know as an AR, that's one thing I do, is if I didn't see anything that I think needs to be called, I stay out of the ref meeting.
Right. So, if I'm feeling antsy, I might run over and double check the time, double check the score. But if I'm not there, there's no the only reason I should be in that meeting is if I have seen what occurred. Like if I'm an AR and it's snitch play and I'm stuck on watching the beaters that have nothing to do with secret play, as much as I love to be involved and want to go to the meeting about the snitch grab, I won't go because it is not my role. I have nothing of consequence to add.
Right. You didn't see any cardable offenses on anyone else, then you've got nothing to add.
Yep.
So we're going to take a look at some of this in action. So mostly we're going to take a look at ref meetings and what happens when a ref meeting goes wrong and what happens when what it looks like when a ref meeting goes well. So the first one we're going to take a look at is a montage. Is the first clip of a montage of Ed Hockley over-explaining things. Ed Hockley is my absolute favorite NFL ref of all time, primarily because he over-explains things. So he's going to try and make a call here after he came out of a ref meeting. He's going to try and make a call.
All right, here comes Hockley with the call, the initial call.
The ball was illegally touched, but it was then recovered by the kicking team. However, there was a holding by the receiving team, number 57. That penalty will be enforced from the previous spot. And then replay fourth down.
I think like seeing this and knowing you as a ref, it just explains a lot.
So the commentators are going to say something about what he just said.
Okay.
He said originally the kicking, then he said the receiving team.
So he doesn't quite know which team recovered the ball at the end of the play. And for those of you who don't know how American football works is basically if you have the ball, then you are trying to gain yards to get closer to the scoring. And so whichever team has the ball is a big deal. And when the ref here declares that the kicking team has the ball when really the receiving team should have the ball. So what do you think happened in that ref meeting?
I have no idea. Probably some bickering and probably I would guess like you probably had two refs saying, no, this happened, no, this happened, no, this happened. And I feel like that was a ref meeting that did not end with a clear resolution.
Nobody seems to be taking control.
We have fouls by both teams during the kick. We have illegal shift by the kicking team. After the kick,
The other ref is yelling both on the kicking team.
and after the kick, we have a 15-yard penalty. Chosen to re-kick, 5-yard penalty.
So what I'm seeing happen there is that the ref goes out to make the call, and then the assistant ref runs in and starts yelling at him across the field. No, 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 no. That's not what's going on. And as an AR and as a head ref, how do you think that could have been handled better? Or how would you handle that differently?
I hate everything about that.
Okay.
So no. The only time I want to hear a head ref screaming no across the field is if I am about to call a goal good that should not have been called good.
Yeah, pretty much saying no good.
That is the only time I want to see it. Because otherwise, if that conversation should have happened in the ref meeting.
Right. Once play's been stopped, if you have something really important and really time sensitive to get to the ref meeting, run.
I mean, because if the assistant ref just screams no across the field while you're making a call, you have lost a lot of authority.
Here's the first Quidditch video. It's the Netherlands versus I can't tell who the other team is. I want to guess Austria or maybe Slovakia.
I'm going to call them red shorts.
Or Poland even. But it's these two teams. So it's orange and white facing off against each other. And you're going to see a delayed penalty being called. And then, we'll just stop and we'll talk about it as it comes along.
Mm-hmm.
So they're running up the field here.
That's when the hand goes up. Okay, I see the hand up.
Right.
And the hand is up, and the hand is up, and the hand is up, and this is not an advantage call. Why is the hand up? Like, okay, continue.
So we have two ARs with their hands up, and we've got ARs on the other side, or at least one here, who doesn't have his hand up. So as an AR, so like the head ref's probably watching the quaffle. They might not see the other ARs in the background. So as an assistant ref, what would you do?
As the assistant ref, if that is not advantage, this is not a time to call advantage because they have not engaged.
Right.
With
To be clear, you're calling a delayed penalty. Only head refs can call
Right.
advantage. But you would
That's true.
recognize that there's no reason
there's
to.
no reason to be waiting at this point. More importantly, at this point, it's not your decision to make, and you have the space to get that information to the ref because there is nothing actively happening on the field.
How would you do that? How would you get it to the ref?
If he hasn't looked at me, I'm gonna start yelling for them if it's urgent, or I'm going to keep my hand up and run in a very weird position and get myself right behind the ref and say, there is a foul on this team.
On the defense of the offense.
And if the ref decides not to do anything, head ref decides not to do anything, though, that's fine because it is it's not my decision. It's not my job as an assistant ref. It's not my job to make that decision.
Right.
It is my job to get that information to the ref. The only time I'm telling a ref to stop play as an AR or lead AR is head, neck, and back injury or blood.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'm saying you need to stop play now.
So we're going to see when they actually get to stopping play. So hold on. The hands went up. Let's back up and see when the hand went up. So the hand goes
went up like right here. 3, 2,
right here.
up.
So at 2:45:18. So 45:18, the hand goes up. We're going to see when they actually stop play.
I'm happy to see that the ref next to her has stuck up her hand as well.
Yep.
Shot is up.
And I see brooms drop. So 45-44. So
So
almost
the refs on the
40
other
seconds
field, the refs on the near side of the field have not done anything yet.
right.
Relevant
So
to the
they should
penalty.
mirror. Right. Those refs should at least be mirroring or saying, ref, we've got a foul on the other side of the field. Stop play.
Mm-hmm.
So the stoppage starts here at 2:45:44. Okay. So we're going to see what goes on during this stoppage.
Okay, first of all, I don't know why I am not happy with the fact that the two refs on the near side joined the meeting. Why are they there? And from what I saw, the ref that was the last one to join was the first one to put their hand up. She should have been the first one in that meeting. She should have been the first one there.
Well, she was the first one we saw on camera. I think the
That's
down
true.
ref had their hands up first.
Okay.
And then this ref here was copying.
Okay. Well, then if she's copying, she should not be there at all.
Right. So I think that's one issue. Is there's too many hands in the pot, right?
Yeah. Don't care for that.
Right. So they're gonna have this ref meeting. And one thing I don't care for is it looks like the coach is trying to tell the refs what the call is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't ever. No, sorry.
Yeah, on the bright side, they didn't let that coach even get into the meeting. The coach stayed pretty much over on the sideline. So that's a bright part.
Right. I don't really care for this pointing that's happening. I definitely don't care for the fact that they're doing this in a line instead of a circle. People love to try and lip read. I like to keep my ref meetings in a circle. We are all looking at each other and nothing else.
Right. And you don't want to use hand signals in meetings because then people will start to speculate. They'll form their own opinions. And, you as the ref want to control the game. You don't want to, dictate the game, but you want to definitely be in charge.
Yeah. I want, from my assistant refs, I want hands in pockets, behind the back, twiddle your thumbs.
Yeah, no, none of that.
Do not pantomime.
I'm not certain what the call is, but there's a bludger turnover occurring. So it might be a playing after beat or no one's going to the box yet.
No.
So I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. Someone's going to the box. So I think it probably is a playing after beat or some sort of contact foul.
Yeah, but I haven't seen a card.
I haven't seen it either, but I see the refs got their cards out. So I think that's a camera problem.
Okay, fair enough.
He's got the little book of cards out. So they're getting ready to to restart play here, which is good. It's still, even if they start play now, it's now been a minute and a half to make a one card call. So that's taking a little too long. And hold on.
Well, and my frustration is the amount that the penalty was delayed. Like,
that was a big frustration.
I don't care for this. Why is there another meeting? No, we've already done this once.
Right, so we're having a second ref meeting. And I, as a player, and as a person who's been a player, coach, a manager, the captain, this does not instill confidence. And one thing I would
No,
like
if this is happening, I'm angry.
Right. And one thing I'd like to point out is that it is raining. And this is the European Games in 2017. So this is Oslo, Norway, and it is raining. So it is very cold. So pretty much if I'm a captain, I know you've dealt with this more, but if I'm a captain, I don't want my players getting cold.
No, I do not. If I coached the Great Lakes in the winter.
Right.
I wanted my players on the field playing, and then as soon as I wanted them on and off, I wanted that game to go fast. I did not want them to get cold physically. Because refs, if you have meetings this long, you're starting to risk injury.
Right.
At the end of the day,
we want to make sure no one gets hurt. That's our topmost priority is player safety.
Yep.
So we're going to see how long this goes. I mean, this can go. We're just going to see. We're going to see how long it takes to get through this meeting.
I don't like this.
Me neither, but here it goes. Okay, so now they're breaking the second time.
It's also giving players time to kind of get amped up at each other.
Right, they might start bickering or something. I don't know about you, but in my experiences, that doesn't happen super often. Is where the players start bickering.
It doesn't, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Right. So I don't know what they're.
And the thing that frustrates me is that there doesn't seem to be a call coming after. No, don't walk towards each other again.
Right, yeah, these ARs are kind of close together, but I think they're going to separate. All right, so play restarts here, 2:48:38. So
what was the purpose of that second ref meeting?
I have no idea what came out of the second round. No one went to the box. I'm not seeing any back to hoops.
Nothing got turned over.
Right. There was the initial card, but that was it. So it was 3 minutes, a 3-minute whistle-to-whistle stoppage, and most of it was spent in ref meetings.
I didn't love that.
Right. So as a head referee, I mean, I have to take control, right? So if I'm head ref, I'm going to come into that meeting and I'm going to ask specifically for what I want. So
yeah,
I know that all I need is the jersey number, the team, and the foul. So that's all I'm going to ask for. So this is from the Quidditch World Cup 2016. This is in Frankfurt, Germany. So it's USA, at the time, the reigning and defending champs against the host Germany in pool play. We're going to see a ref meeting after a play Germany makes. So Germany is bobbing the quaffle here, pitches it out, and then number 22 from out there rips a shot. So let's see, 6. So about 12 yards out, rips a shot towards the hoops. Okay. So you get an idea of what's going on. Okay. The head referee is down here. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that?
Wait, that's the head.
Right. So the head ref is down here, almost at the old starting line, so halfway into the keeper zone.
We are not here to discuss positioning, but yikes.
Right. I just want you to know where people are in the field. So there's an AR here. There's another AR you can barely see behind her head. You can see the top of his head here.
Okay.
There's an AR off the screen here, and then there's a fourth AR on the same side here, but like down that way.
Okay.
Okay. So rips a shot, and I'll be honest, at normal speed, it's hard for me to tell, but I think it deflects off the top of the hoop and goes through.
Germany definitely thinks it went through.
Right. And so it looks like a couple of seconds after the goal, the ref's going to stop play.
First of all, I don't care for how long that took to happen.
Yeah, it certainly does take a while, but sometimes that happens. You fumble the whistle, you're working on it. So let's take a look at the ref meeting, though. That's going to happen. So this starts at about 13-10, 13-11 into the game. So now we're going to have. So here's the head referee.
So personally, as a head ref, I want my ref meetings to be as far away from the players and coaches as it can reasonably be.
Right. Like I'm not trying to go to Timbuktu, but
I want enough space that they cannot listen in and then start telling me why I'm wrong.
Right.
I definitely don't want a coach there.
Yeah, so here we've got the coach for Team USA and then the head ref and 2 ARs in the ref meeting as of right now.
He has no business being there.
Right, and it looks like they almost kick him out. So I don't know what they're discussing because in the original play, I didn't see any bludgers anywhere near the player.
I think the only discussion is who had the best view on the hoop.
and whether or not it went through. Yeah, and that could have been
But-
fixed with positioning by the head ref, but not what we're here for.
I guess that's what's happening, is whether or not the shot went through the hoop.
And we're going to find out, I guess, whether the shot went through the hoop. So they're having a ref meeting there. Another AR is coming in.
Did they
I think
have a
he's
view?
deferring.
Did they have a shot? And also, where's the goal ref? Because the goal ref, in theory, has the best view.
Right. The goal judge is this is one of the few meetings I want the goal judge in.
Yeah,
So
like
maybe-
if you are going to run towards the field, if you're a goal ref and you're ever going to butt in, this is when you do it. Because
Right.
that is your only job, is to say, did that go through the hoops? Yes.
Right.
No.
The first time I watched this clip, I thought the ref here was walking over to get the quaffle, because I remember the quaffle went off the back, but the
Mhm.
quaffle in the keeper's hand.
Yeah,
so-
that's not what's happening.
I think the head ref is talking to the goal judge here, but I don't know why they didn't just pull the goal judge into the meeting.
Yeah, that's weird.
And so we're going to see how long this takes whistle to whistle. So remember, it started at about 13:10.
I don't like this. It should not, like, this is a long time. So,
So,
cool. The goal was good.
13:10 to about 14:14. So it's a little over a minute just to call a goal good or not good.
Don't care for that.
This one is from US Quidditch Cup. I think this is Cup 11. This is from 2 years ago. This is Texas A&M University versus the University of Maryland in bracket play. And you're going to see a stoppage for a contact penalty on a beater. This is going to be called by the assistant refs.
Who's the head ref?
The head ref is Kelby Brooks.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Shoot it over top and out. Oh,
So here we've got two ARs coming in to make the call. The whistle's being blown at about 46:39, 46:38.
I like that the whistle was blown immediately after the ball went through, after the shot went up,
Right. It was immediate. It was really fast.
which means he
Right.
he had seen his ARs.
Right. Once advantage had occurred or had
Mhm.
abated. So we're gonna see how long the ref meeting takes. So the head ref just walks straight past the ARs.
It looks
All
like
right.
he was trying to get to a place where the players wouldn't be able to hear him.
Right. So the ref meeting here starts at 46:46. Okay.
Hmm.
Let's see how long it lasts. And it is done at 46:47.
It was quick and easy.
Right. So I'm pretty sure. So Nick comes in to make the call. Nick Jablonski here comes in to make the call and tells Kelby, contact from behind the female beater for Texas A&M. And that's all he said. That's all that needs to be said.
And I saw as well, yes.
Right. And so now we're going to watch this whistle to whistle. So it started at about 46:38 was when the whistle was blown initially. We're going to see how long this takes whistle to whistle.
Hurries the ball to the player so he can focus on getting in position and go.
So 46:16. So 38 to 16 is what, 40-ish seconds? A little less than 40 seconds.
I'm not good at math, so yes.
Well, it's a little less. I think it's a little bit less than 40 seconds. So, and of the 40 seconds, the ref meeting was 2 of those seconds.
Right. Most of it was getting the ball. I mean, most of it was spent watching the goal ref run to grab the ball and get it back.
Right. The
Which
goal
is-
ref to go get the ball, Jung to go get the ball, and waiting for the player to get to the box.
Like that, and that is something that can't be entirely controlled.
Right. And sometimes that if that's the reason you're waiting is for the player to go to the box, and they're getting over there, maybe you got to trade headbands because of the keeper, whatever.
That's
But
fine.
It's not your fault. But when it's the ref's fault, the meeting is taking forever, you got to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we did have the benefit of there were only 3 refs in this meeting, and the 2 refs who were in it agreed. The 2 ARs who were in it agreed. So we're going to take a look here at a call which required every single referee on the field. So it requires the snitch ref, both of the ARs, the lead AR,
This is
and
the
the
same
headband-
game.
and the snitch. Yeah, this is the end of this game. So it's the call on the snitch catch that occurs at the end of this game. So a beater is going to try to beat the seeker for University of Maryland. You'll be able to see it in this little window here.
I'm watching the Seeker, right?
The Maryland seeker.
Okay, Maryland Seeker.
So this beater is going to try and beat the Maryland seeker, Ben Wong. and misses him.
I could not see that very well, but I trust you.
So you're not alone in not being able to see that well. The crowd also doesn't see it well. So I'm going to turn on the commentary so you can hear what the crowd and what the commentators are saying
All right.
as we walk into this ref meeting. So the whistle is blown at about 1:08:30.
Okay, I'm listening.
Is that a sneak attack grab? What happened on that grab? It appears that
Oh, I hear him.
the snitch was turned and the seeker just engaged with the left hand.
Yeah, the crowd is chanting beat at us because the crowd thinks he was beat. The snitch thought he was beat. And one of the ARs, if I remember correctly, one of the ARs think he's beat, but another AR had the perfect angle to see that he actually wasn't beat. And the camera has the perfect angle as well.
Mm-hmm. I think this is a time when I am, as a head ref, I am putting all of my trust into my assistant refs because I'm not watching the snitch.
You have to. You don't have a choice. So here the head ref is making it excellent. He asked the snitch, like, what happened? Were you impeded? And now he's turning to me, the snitch ref. Was he impeded? And I'm saying, I think the call was good. And we can obviously hear the crowd. So the ref is like, was he beat before? And I'm pretty sure my response is, I did not see a beat on the seeker.
Definitely could happen.
Which I want to be clear is different than saying he wasn't beat. I'm saying I didn't see a beat on the seeker.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just going to be asking.
So here you can see this AR is emphatically expressing that the seeker was not beat.
But even still, if I did not, I only know that because you were in the meeting. If I'm watching from the outside, all I know is he's saying something, this happened or this didn't happen. All I know is that ref is 100% confident in what he's saying.
Right. And so this is a bracket, to give you some context, this is a bracket play game. It's the 24 seed versus the 3 seed, where Maryland is the 24 seed. So this is a huge pull for an upset. The stands are full of the home crowd, the Texas A&M crowd, because this was in Texas, who is chanting at the refs, the seeker is beat. They're chanting beat, beat. And as the refs, because the assistant refs knew what they were doing, and because the head referee took control of the meeting and broke it down and made it real simple, we were able to figure out what happened in 45 seconds.
Because you were also determining whether or not the goal or the snitch grab happened first.
Right. We had to know if the goal happened first, which one happened first. We were pretty good at knowing which one happened first. We knew
right, but I mean, at this point in the game, that's determining a tie or a win.
Right. And so it takes us 45 seconds because we kept our cool and we weren't trying to fight over each other to see who was right. It was just what happened.
It is when you're reffing and in a ref meeting, I only want to hear objective statements.
Right. They were beat, they were not beat. I didn't see if they were beat.
Which is difficult with some calls when you get into the unnecessary roughness. But that is the minority of calls. 99% of the time, it is an objective fact.
Laura, thank you for joining me to talk about communication among a crew. Any final thoughts you sum up here?
Fake it till you make it. You don't always, a lot of times you have to ref even when you don't want to, because this is a game that requires a lot of referees on the field and we pull from teams.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you have questions about this video or ideas for future videos, please go ahead and leave a comment below. My next video will be released on Thursday, and that'll be about how referees work together to get a game started on time and everything in that pregame procedure that needs to be done. In the meantime, please stay safe out there.